Good morning, everyone. Can you tell I've taught classes before? You just say one thing, stand there quietly, everyone stops. So my name is Clint Burson. I'm the Director of Government Affairs for the Missoula Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm here to welcome you today. So thank you all for coming, whether you're a business, a teacher, or a counselor, whoever you are. Thank you for coming. This is an important event. Just to give you a little bit of history, the reason this event got started last year was that we had heard that teachers and school counselors are very pressed for time with their careers. So you don't have a lot of time to go out and research jobs that students may be able to get without going to a 2- and 4-year college, whether it's dealing with kids that are facing emotional issues or homelessness or any of those things. All of those things take up time that was traditionally a long time ago, spent helping kids with finding their career path. So we wanted to get you together with all of the businesses so that they can just kind of highlight some opportunities that they may offer your students within the community, where if it's someone that just doesn't want to go to college or they're just not a right fit for college, there's still plenty of opportunities, and not only opportunities, but really well-paying opportunities. So we got everyone together last year. We paraded a bunch of businesses in front of teachers and counselors, and we heard from last year that you wanted more interaction. So that's what we're going to try to give you this year. We've got a group of folks that are going to introduce the day for you, but then after that, this is set up like speed dating. So you may have noticed you're at a bunch of different tables. When we get to that section, we'll have each of the businesses at the table give you their pitch for their career choice and opportunities that they may have. They'll have 60 to 120 seconds, 1 to 2 minutes, to make their pitch, and then after that, you're going to have time to ask them questions. At the end of that session, we're going to blow a horn or make some really loud noise. You'll move to the next table. So the way it'll work and what table you'll go to, just so that there's no confusion. If you were at table 1, you'll move to table 2. If you're at table 2, you'll move to table 3. You see how that works out? So, and then for table 10, you'll come across to table 1 and start over. The reason we set it up that way is we really want to make sure that you have an opportunity to meet all of the different businesses and all of the different career fields. You may be a woodshop teacher and you may have a student in there that's looking for career options and they're just not good at working with wood. You want to be able to point them in a direction where they may have another opportunity, whether it's welding, whether it's in the health profession or first responders, any of the other fields that we have represented here today. So we want to make sure that you have an opportunity to get exposed to all of those, which is why we set it up the way that we have. The other thing that I need to mention is that because the construction and trades fields are so interested in finding employees, we have a wealth of them today, so they're not all at the construction table. Some of them have been moved around a little bit so that we make sure and spread them out a little. So if you talk to a construction person and they're in the early childhood education table, don't freak out. We're not looking for child labor necessarily. We just had to spread them out a little bit so that you have an opportunity to meet all of them. With that said, I think I've covered everything that I'm supposed to talk about, so I'm going to bring up your superintendent, Rob Watson. Just so you guys know, I am infamous for forgetting names in a moment. I have a board member here who's back at the health table, Denise Sherman, who I do remember her name finally. I'm really bad at remembering names in the heat of the moment, but that's part of public speaking, right? All right, here you go, Rob.
Thanks, Clint. Good job. I am new, so maybe that's why you forgot my name, so that's okay.
I was thinking Mark, so...
Yeah, that's cool. All right, well, really appreciate you being here today. For those of you I haven't met, which is quite a few of you, I'm Rob Watson. I'm the school superintendent for Missoula County Public Schools. I just have a few thank yous and a story to share with you. So, first of all, a big thank you to the business folks that are here in the room today. As the superintendent of schools, I do believe that the success of our district, our school district, really relies on the community. But conversely, the success of the community is also enhanced when our schools are good schools and high-quality schools. I know that when you've got high-quality schools, that's a great thing. It can attract folks to the community and can attract business folks. So really excited that we have this gathering today. I'm excited that you're all together. A quick story. So when I was a teacher many, many years ago, I was a high school math teacher, and about my third or fourth year, I got tired of hearing the question of, when are we ever going to use this? Right? Anybody ever asked their math teacher that? And so what's interesting about this story is I was also part of an initiative, a school to work initiative, and what they did is they allowed teachers to go on a job internship for a day. So I think I was a third-year teacher, and they got me a sub for my classroom, and I got to go to a FedEx distribution site for a day, and I got to tour the FedEx site, and I kind of wanted to work for FedEx after I saw all that cool stuff. But what was interesting for me as a teacher is I really got to see how the skills that I was teaching my students and the discussions we were having in class every day, how it translated to the workplace. And that was the first time that I really saw the relevance of what I was doing as a teacher and how important it was. And it made me a better teacher when I went back to my classroom. So I do think it's important for teachers to bridge that gap and really understand how what we do every day really helps in the workplace. So thank you to the teachers that are here today. Another thank you, if I could have the school counselors stand. Can you do that for me, please? Thank you. It's really nice that you gave them an applause because we just finished with the National School Counselor Week last week. And so really excited to celebrate our school counselors and thank them for being here. School counseling has changed a lot. If you went to high school many years ago like I did, you probably had an idea of what a school counselor does, but that idea has changed a lot. We're asking a lot of our school counselors these days. And so I really appreciate the work that they do, and thank you for being here, and happy 1 week late National School Counselor Week. So with that, just a couple of other thank yous. Again, thanks to the Chamber, both Clint and Kim, for helping to host this event today. We appreciate the partnership that our district has with the Chamber. And then a final really important person that helped put this all together on the district side is Casey Dernberger. And I'm going to turn this over to Casey in a second, but I would just like to say that none of this would be possible. None of our district participation would be possible without Casey's hard work. Casey has created a really strong relationship with the Chamber and our business community, and really helps organize these sorts of events. So Casey, thanks for all that you do. Come on up.
Well, those of you that don't know me, I'm Casey Dernberger, and I'm the Career Technical Education Coordinator for the school district. And my job is to coordinate all of our program areas, including agriculture, business, health science, industrial trades and technology, and business. Did I say business twice? I'm a business teacher, so that might be why. Who did I forget? What? Family Consumer Science, that's right. And so when I coordinate all of those programs, one of the key components is advisory boards, and a lot of the business people in the room are on our advisory boards, and we listen to their input on what they think kids need, and we tried really hard to incorporate those skills into our teaching. So one of the things that we worked on this year were pathways, and in our pathways are advisory boards and our plans of study, and those are all the coursework that we do, and we worked really hard. All of our teachers deserve a round of applause for that. So the state really wants us to start incorporating foundational skills into our curriculum, and so that's our next step. We are starting to have a foundational skills task force that we're putting together to take the input from the community and incorporate it into our teaching. Targeted instruction on employability skills. So those include communication, collaboration, professionalism, technical skills, and interpersonal skills. And we're going to hopefully have all of those taught throughout their career, the student's career specifically in those areas, so that our students come out better prepared for the workforce. So that's our next step. And if anyone wants to join this endeavor, please email me. Or if any of you want to be on the advisory board, that would be delightful. Just give me your card and we'll get you signed up. So there's my spiel for the day, I think I have to introduce Clint. You did this. This is your fault. Tom. See, it rubs off. And he is the new dean? No, president, vice president, dean. I was right the first time of Missoula College.
Well, hello everybody. I'll reintroduce myself here. I'm Tom Gallagher. I'm the dean at Missoula College. I want to just send everybody a really, really warm welcome. We're so happy to share our facilities and our building with you. We made a special request, and if you're not able to recognize that really bright thing that's in the sky, that's the sunshine. Okay? A lot of times we don't see that again until March or maybe even early April. But we dialed it up today, and it's just a beautiful day to be here. So thank you. I want to welcome members of the business community, Kim and Clint, and Chamber of Commerce for their support in bringing this event here. And most importantly, the teachers and the school counselors that are here. I have a young lady who is a Sentinel High School student right now, and I think one of the most special people in the whole school district is, and I'll call her the fairy godmother of school counselors, has had such a huge impact on my daughter, and I just really appreciate that. I also think that the teaching staff, you guys it's so important what you're doing. You have such a huge impact on kids. We're training kids right now and educating kids right now for jobs that we don't even know what they are yet. It's really a kind of a awkward position to be in. But they have ideas, and by taking those ideas, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a lawyer, whatever that might be, you guys are on the front lines of helping them evolve that idea into something that they can turn into a career. So thank you very much for that. I will tell you just real briefly, we're doing some really innovative things here at Missoula College, working very closely with the Department of Labor and Industry, and I'll just give you one example here, where we've started apprenticeship opportunities in areas that previously didn't exist before. And we're doing it in a way that has been very, very unique and really serves the Missoula community in a different way because we're working with small businesses and doing so. So the area I just talked real briefly about today is IT. So information technology, managed IT services is something that we all need in our businesses today. And there's a huge demand for folks with those type of skills. But there's also a very limited supply. And so those types of programs are STEM-related programs that aren't always easily identified by students that are out looking for opportunities to maybe pursue careers in. So we're trying to create awareness for that and at the same time serve the business community by using Missoula College and maybe a one-year certificate, two-year degree, whatever the education is, as an onboarding process for businesses in a number of different ways. So apprenticeships are a high-intensity activity. Folks come to Missoula College. They do a semester here for their pre-apprenticeship training. So they'll get their education here. And then their second semester, they'll start off into their apprenticeship where they're doing work-based learning activities. So they're doing it in parallel while they're finishing their classes. They'll come over in the summer, work full-time at their apprenticeship, come back in the fall, finish up their classwork, work part-time again, and by the end of the year they have a highly skilled professional for the business. So it's a really interesting and kind of cool way to go to college and make a really, really good wage. It's a really good value for the businesses because they're getting continuing education for their employees as an apprentice goes through that. And I think in the end everybody wins. So just share that with you. We have lots of good success stories. Great job today. Really hope that you have a great event, and thank you for giving me a couple minutes of your time.
All right. I have two more things I have to tell you before I turn you loose on the speed dating. The first thing is that last year, as part of this event, we collected a lot of information from businesses with the intent of sending it out to teachers and counselors so that you had it all at your fingertips. That caught the attention of the Montana Department of Labor, and so they stepped in and said, let us build you a website. So unfortunately, the person from the Department of Labor who was supposed to be here today got caught in Helena. There's a ton of snow over there apparently. so he wasn't able to make it over this morning. But the website is very close to being done, and once we get that done, we're going to have a way to get all of that information out to all of you so that you know where the website is. You can tell your students and their parents where the website is. And what it'll be is an opportunity for them to go and basically research career options. So they'll be able to go to the website, look at what their interests are, and that'll help point them to careers, and then tell them kind of what is required for those careers, whether it's a certificate program or a degree, or there's an apprenticeship program that's available to them. All of that information will be there and available to them. It is not a job site, so it's not going to have specific jobs listed as open. It's going to be all about how do you get into this career field. And it'll be the information that they need so that they can come back to you and say, I need a little bit more math, or I need to get into this program, so can you help me get there? Basically, we want to help them and their parents get a little bit more educated about the careers and the opportunities that they have outside of just saying, I guess I have to go to college. May not be the case, might be the case, but it may not be, and we want to make sure that everyone is aware of those opportunities. The second thing I want to mention is that as you're working through this, don't feel like you have to get every single piece of information from the business folks at your table during the 10-minute session. At the end of the 10 different sessions, we're going to have almost an hour social time. So if you get their name and what business they're with, you can hunt them down later and get more information from them at that point. So that's all I have to say. So with that, you have 10 minutes with the first table, and look at that, I'm starting right on time.
So I'm Matt Johnson, I teach at Big Sky High School. I teach. We'll just say business.
Okay.
Lots of stuff. I'm Chief, I'm on the school council over there.
Okay, I will picture it. My name is Katie Smith. It's a trade association. It's not a typical employer, but we represent more than 230 high-tech and manufacturing companies around the state. Part of what we do is we promote them and we connect them with businesses. So we have job support on our website at imperfectech.org. It's on there. And we also have been working really hard to connect our company with educational opportunities. So if you were looking for a company, our membership funds to come into your classrooms or potentially arrange a visit to a company with that experience that he was talking about earlier on the stage with FedEx, we can potentially help out with that. So, yeah.
Especially I have a couple of computer classes. They vary what design graphics and stuff like that. Sometimes it's hard to connect because there's a lot of smaller ones around.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's a good way to go to them and have them from us.
Absolutely, yeah, we should stop it there. That's all in a long time.
TJ Nicholson joined Brody from AT&T.
So we really, I guess for us, what we really look at the business students and kids coming out of high school would be someone who maybe isn't ready for college, maybe they want to have a gap year, or maybe they're interested in going to school a little bit later. We have fantastic benefits. They get medical, dental, vision almost right away. I think for high school kids, the biggest push is if they're not ready, they get a really good idea what having a full-time job is like. And then after 6 months of tenure with us, if they want to, they can pursue some sort of degree for approved degree. So if they want to do yoga, we're not going to pay for that. But if, for other degrees, there's a degree program, $5,250 per calendar year towards, technology type of degrees. And then also we have some nano degrees where the company itself pays for it if people are interested. So we have a ton of different benefits. I mean, there's a game room. If kids come and look at that, come and tour, they're always interested because the facility itself is fun. It looks fun. I mean, it's a job. I tell people the job is hard, so the facility's fun, so that when you're on your break, you can enjoy something.
No, it's just a good entry-level position so they can learn the real work, real job.
Yeah, we have a couple of, we have several people that started out in the entry-level position that have made a career out of it, finished, done the school, done the tuition reimbursement, and been with us for 10, 12 years.
Where are you guys located at?
Out by the airport, right next to the Harley shop.
What are the jobs?
It's a customer service representative, so taking inbound calls and troubleshooting either you versus internet or direct-to-use satellite television. So, yep.
I mean, really for high school kids, it's a matter of can they communicate a little, because we'll teach them, and two, can they show up and be on time? Like, that's the biggest thing is they're not necessarily used to being on time and having to be there every day. We've got great paid time off, but they got to be there to earn that and stuff like that.
What size you guys starting? Quite a bit higher too than
1527 to 1786, I think, is a range. If they have no experience, they'll come in at 1520. Is it 1527?
1527.
It's over 15 bucks an hour. And we give half off a cell phone bill. If they want to put their parents on their cell phone, they get half off, 2 accounts, 10 lines of service each. Yeah, a lot of really nice perks.
Plus games.
Plus games, they can play free video games on the break. They do.
Rob made a class with
I'm Megan Hammer. I work for We are a technical consulting firm. The things that we've done for some of the high school students that are either looking to go into the workforce or go into college is we've actually done high school internships before. It's unpaid, but it really gives them a bird's eye view into what it's like working in the workforce. And we teach them some of the primary things of communication, business essentials, and we kind of demystify the tech world to understand it's not just sitting behind a computer all day, filling out code. There's also a lot of human interaction. We also offer for folks maybe thinking college isn't what they want to do. We offer a training program through Cognizant, and it's a 12-week program. It is paid, and it teaches you from business and consulting essentials to more of the technical stuff. And it's a partnership between Missoula College and the lab. So we also have your professors that are helping to teach it, and then we have Salesforce instructors that fly in and teach people as well. And then upon exiting that program, they're offered full-time opportunities. So same thing, benefits. Great PTO, great leave policies, corporate discounts. We also have a very fun working environment. People bring dogs to work. We do a lot of community involvement as well. There's also a lot of growth opportunities that they have a say in what their career path is like. So really the start of it is demystifying what this workforce is and getting more interested in both. I would say out of high school, the training program is probably going to be better because you're going to get a stronger foundation on how the workforce works. I feel if people go into college, we also have openings from that as well. We have a huge pipeline in relationship with the University of Montana. We co-teach classes there as well, so people are very well prepared into how our model works. And then with the high school internship, not everybody goes into STEM, but it's a good feeling knowing that you kind of taught what the workforce is like and kind of basically, like I said, demystifying it. A lot of people are like, I don't want to do STEM for coding. That's not necessarily true. So it's just giving them a little bit more confidence and preparedness, whether they go to college or they enter. We haven't at the high school level. We've come in and done classroom presentations to students who might be interested in that internship program for high schoolers, just to kind of say, like, this is what we do, here's what you can learn, here's previous interns that did the program and what they took from it. We do new webinars, one of their classes about information infrastructure and learning the Salesforce platform and how to demo that to stakeholders. So they learn some technical stuff, but more along the lines of, here's how you communicate with professionals, here's how you answer questions, here's how you organize your time and deliver a project. So we do go into the classroom and coach office hours and curriculum time. I'm sure they would love to do that.
Especially in my classes, because you look for the main
my boss, Christina, also does presentations, and typically she's done them at the college level, and she'll highlight, 12 or 13 companies around the area, both in Missoula, around Missoula, and then around, kind of cater it towards what you're looking for. I don't know if she's gone into high school before, but I think that would be really beneficial for students to know, like, what's here, especially some of the smaller companies that they may not have heard of.
When you think about the best employees that you've had that have come right out of high school, what sort of qualities, other than showing up for work, showing up on time, what are some of the best qualities?
We've had some recently great ones that were not even technology oriented, but it was the patience, the speaking skills. We have some great employees now. Yep.
I think the biggest thing for us, like we see a lot of kids that come in, and I've tried to kind of pitch this to the different school counselors, but the big thing for us too is when they come in and we're interviewing like, 25 people a week. There are some really nice kids that we interview that just don't know how to answer the questions, and I feel like, I'd love to give them a try, but I don't know, they don't know how to answer the questions. They've never had an interview before. So, having kids that are prepared and, when they come in and their personality is great and they're real positive, it's nice if they know how to answer the questions.
And teachability is something that we find really important. We typically hire interns for our own office, but at the college level, but you can get a teachable freshman and they can be very flexible because they're willing to take criticism and then they problem solve. So we hear that a lot from our employers too, that problem solving.
And are you experiencing an attitude?
Less than years past, for sure. Yeah. Basically because it's the interview process and being able to target more adaptable employees, whereas before we were just hiring basically.
Our turnover almost entirely is based on people not showing up for work. Truly. I think they like the job, but our attendance policy has changed frequently because we find that if we have really strict guidelines, so I think that's been something that has made it a little bit better. But that's almost the only reason we lose people at all. They don't make it work. Yeah.
And good jobs. I have a student that lives in a restaurant and he runs the service department, and he said that there's too many things over here you can't pass through. He passes all day, you don't show up. He said it's a $40,000 job right off the bat.
Yeah, and that's what you too. I don't know how many we've seen that come in right out of high school with their first job, their first real job, and they either get fired for attendance or they quit, and then they come back and say, I didn't know how good this was. Like, can you please take us back? Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't.
What sort of training program do you put in for their
training for the 4 weeks of classroom training, which is basically book-oriented presentations, and then it is 4 weeks of on-the-job training, which is phones, with a dedicated team, myself, and a bunch of tenured agents that teach them, so they can take it right from ground one.
Soft skills.
Yep.
We typically do, but I think
we can teach that.
Those are things that we typically have to teach. A lot of adults come in.
All right, that's the end of the first session.
Great at it.
Hopefully you can wrap it up really quick. Move on to the next table.
How are you? Okay, so I'm Allie. I work for American Welding and Gas in Missoula, and the opportunity that we would have for the students is more so like job shadowing than anything else, not a lot of hands-on. We're not actually a weld shop, we're a distributor, so we do beverage, industrial, and metal to gases, and then we also do consumables and hard goods. So we would offer the students an opportunity to come in and do a lot of not hands-on work, but job shadowing for cylinder safety. And I also had an opportunity to kind of talk about Ironwood manufacturing here in town. They're just one of my new clients, and they're offering summer work. So they would have a lot of hands-on work with welding and fabrication, etc.
So I'm Andrew Gellwing. I'm from IBEW, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. I'm here on behalf of the JTC. So we have a 5-year school where they would go to work for one of our contractors, and then when they go down to the school, they get tuition-free schooling paid by the contractors. So basically they'll work for like 5 weeks, and then the 6th week they'll go down to Helena and spend a week in school as they learn, basically. They'll do that 5 times a year for 5 years. And at the end of it, then they'll graduate out with 8,000 hours of on-the-job training and all of their scores. And on top of it, they have guaranteed wage increases, and they have full family health insurance, and all their pensions paid on their behalf.
we're low, and my name's Jamie. I'm here with HR. I'm with HR. She's the talent acquisition partner. There's a lot of different things that we have. Obviously, we're hiring anything from seasonal associates just for temporary until they move off to go to college. Also permanent jobs. The biggest thing that we kind of want to talk about is generation team, and it's really a move to the in-house helps increase the amount of people that go into the work trade industry. So it's a big gap right now, and if you think about the next 10 years, it's going to be even more like 911. We're not going to have people doing those jobs. So we offer something called track and train. We'll pay for them to become plumbing. So we'll actually pay them. They don't have to be full-time associates. They can be a part-time employee, and we'll pay for that, knowing that they're going to leave us to become that electrician or that plumber, but that we will retain them one of the customers. And then two, it's going to help the industry because we're not going to be successful if we don't have staff and there's no one serving us. My name is Jamie. We've got a lot of cool staff, I think. So by 2028, there will be 3 million job openings in the resource. So it is such an option for students that maybe don't want to go to 4-year college or they pursue that. And it really helps them make a good living doing things that maybe
And at the bottom, there's a website you go to, it's wearegenerationc.com. And so people who are skilled in the trades and have businesses, they can go to the website and sign up, sign the pledge, right? And the girls without like trades, they would job either. They could sign a pledge and just support the program. And then with students, Jamie had mentioned directly trades, but right now our students have to be 18 and stuff, and we're working on getting people who, well, we're working on reducing age to 18, and so as soon as we're there, we're really going to start trying to come students. How do you go from high school to a job, right? And so those is really passionate about
Yeah, so basically, for one of our contractors, so we have a whole list of contractors here in Missoula and in Calico, and so what happens is they have to go through this application process, reading, math comprehension, and then they have to have a year of algebra. We actually have to test them for like trigonometry, geometry for the basics, and once they pass or fail that, then they basically go on a waiting list and our contractors hired right off the bat. So then once they get hired, they'll go to work just like a regular job, every single day, except for like every 6 weeks they'll end up going to Helena and going to a legal school.
They're going to math school. The schooling they're going through is an apprenticeship program, so they're passing all the, it's like 14 courses or something like that for their apprenticeship.
Yeah, it's a little bit more intense than that. Our apprenticeship, we have hands-on learning where they're bending conduit, motor stop start controls, bookwork, all of it. And by the time that you're done, I think you get like almost an associate's degree because a lot of those credits and math credits actually transfer to the college. It is, and that's where it makes it a little harder because I'm actually from the Union Hall, but since they couldn't make it, I didn't want the JHC in this area.
So, on the electrician side, is there a lot of opportunity right now?
Oh yeah, huge. And the cool part about being part of the union and stuff with us at the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is all of your benefits go in one pot. So it doesn't matter if you're here or if all of a sudden I decide to go like Seattle really bad needs help or Utah, Oregon, they have those big data centers. I can go travel and hit all of those places, all of my benefits and everything get into one pot.
When you join the union, that apprenticeship program, you have to stay in that whole time, is that right?
Yeah.
get out as a consequence of,
Not
like,
really.
like they didn't have
It could end it, but then they can come back into it. We really press them to just stay in it for the first 5 years, so that way they can, you can get your ticket.
Right.
Because all the heavy math and then all the code and everything that you're learning, if you stepped out, try to step back in, it's pretty difficult.
Right.
So they really pound on you in that school, and that's how they have like 98%. I don't know what it is. They have a very, high answer. That test with the state of Montana isn't that easy.
I was in the shooting union, so I remember how that when you have to stay with them the whole time.
Yeah, because they don't even want you, traveling from like here to Spokane or here to, wherever you sign up is where they kind of want you to stay. Unless, there's 3 different unions. There's 768 is here, 233 is the center of the state, and you have 532, which is like Bozeman, Billings area.
I think it was interesting because we were talking to one of the counselors that he's a teacher of business. And I think just their preparedness to know what the expectations are from the employer. You think about attendance, professionalism, how to prepare yourself for an interview, and what kind of questions to ask, and just some of those things that probably I'd say the biggest thing. If I could only say one, I would say really, like that's kind of like maybe a opportunity, which is totally something that's within their control. But just, it would benefit them to take steps into it knowing what to say.
From someone who does business and so that's another big thing. Sometimes they might not have a lot of experience, but what they have is real experience. When I see these resumes, they just say, nothing. Okay, I mean, when you part of some sort of leadership in school, when you do school, but that translates.
That's funny, because that's something that one community I'm on at our school, we're trying to promote all kids involved in something sports. You all know kids are more involved in young people and it's funny to say that because one of the things you might not have any work experience, but you've been a part of teams of some kind.
And our minimum requirements are the ability to use students
I'd also say, for me, for somebody who sits on a board all the time and I have a ton of applicants all the time, just if you're going to go into a trade, like even electrical trade, you can always be a parts runner at a supply house or something. That shows a lot of effort already that, hey, I'm invested, I can learn about the trade and stuff like that. So if you have a kid that is interested in the field, to be able to start at the very bottom, running parts, knowing what the parts are called and stuff, automatically that's one of the things I give them a lot more score for that. Well, because of, if they work in the electrical department, they need to stock parts, so they would know what a 4-square box is. So I look for like a lot of things like that when they're doing that.
Do you get a lot of kids right out of high school, or they go to college when they come?
It's a mixture, really. Currently, we have about 32 people on Missoula list and about 10 people in Kalispell. But it all depends on that direct interview is where they're going to score and rate. So, the reading and math is just a scale. But when they sit down and start asking questions, and it's like, well, that guy's already worked at the parts house for 2 years. He's kind of already trying to line himself up with that trade. Stuff like that will spike him. They can be A1 interview.
All right, that's the end of that one. Time to move on to the next table.
Let you start again.
All right, my name is Greg Anderson. This is my counterpart, Striker Clark. We're captains with the U.S. Forest Service here in Missoula. We work specifically in fire, but I want to chat, a little bit about all the land management opportunities that are there, especially at the introductory level. To get in, our jobs start, they're seasonal positions. You really just have to be 18 and a U.S. citizen to work for the Forest Service. We have opportunities in wildlife, recreation, trails, wilderness work, fire, and they all start at about $12 an hour seasonally, so you're working from basically May to September, October. All of us start kind of seasonally, and there's career opportunities that come down the road as you gain experience. You know, we hire a lot of people each year. We get a lot of applicants. It's kind of a challenging system. It's a big national database hired through usajobs.com. The trickiest thing is our hiring. It moves around every year as far as the dates, but generally we hire, the applications are due in September, October for the following field season, so it's something you want to get on. It happens early. We get a lot of calls in October, November, and we're like, sorry, the applications were already due. The key, if you have someone that's interested in land management opportunities, is to just have them call their local ranger district. There's Forest Service offices scattered all throughout the West. Every one of them hires a seasonal workforce every year. We train all the people we hire, so it's still kind of old school in the sense that calling and having a face-to-face chat. We make the time for anyone that wants to call, and the key is just to have them call their local ranger district, say I'm interested in this, and they'll put you through to someone like us who can help steer them through that application process. But there's thousands of seasonal jobs every year for people that want to work in the woods.
Very few of them require
Half?
Ding.
Good morning, my name is Teresa, and I'm with the Missoula Job Service. I work with everybody. I work with youth, so right now I go into the high schools and talk to various classrooms, in a sense, from students that have maybe some disabilities or are needing some more assistance. And I also talk to the marketing business classrooms, also deaf. So I do a full range of assistance in the sense where I can help them, these students, be more successful in their job search. So I talk about things like how to work on their, or what things they should put on their resume, provide them with interview skills and techniques. The big thing right now that employers are asking or wanting the workforce to work more on is their soft skills. So, and how they can retain them, how the workforce can be better employees. So I speak to the classrooms. Actually, just spoke to a Big Sky counselor, or teacher he's going to come into his classroom and talk about some of these things. I have a flyer out here that has some customized subjects that I speak about. I also have parents that come in and say, my child needs to work. They're 16 and I need to get them going and help out. I have a list of employers that they can speak to. And again, I help them to be successful for that maybe interview, for that resume, for whatever it consists of. I also talk about youth rules and policies, because a lot of these students don't know what they need to do at their first day job. For instance, what's a W-4 and what's an I-9, why do they need to show that information, but also how to protect themselves. If there is a concern about maybe paycheck is incorrect, or maybe there's an issue with a policy that's going on in the office, I can certainly talk to them about what they need to do and give them those techniques and some of that guidance. Obviously, we're not lawyers or anything else, but again, the guidance and best practices is what we can provide. Also, Clint spoke earlier about the website of Department of Labor, and that's something that we would be supporting as well, and hoping that if any employer is needing some assistance and some guidance, I can help them guide through that website and make those connections, because this is what it's all about, is helping our workforce be successful and moving forward. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
My name is Jimmy Rood. I'm with the Montana Registered Apprenticeship Program. I primarily design training programs for employers. So students that may be interested in a career, I wouldn't work with that student. But if the student identifies that they'd like to go into become a veterinarian or a veterinarian assistant, I would work with the business that they have identified and build a training program for them to have a way to do the pre-apprenticeship, similar to what Dean Gallagher had talked about earlier, all the way through to what we call a full apprenticeship that can range anywhere from 2,000 hours, which is our state minimum by law, up to the longest one I have is a pipe fitter, which is 10,000 hours, a 5-year apprenticeship. We have over 100 different occupations. We're always open to new things. The majority of what I do is electricians and plumbers because that's mandated by the state that they have to do an apprenticeship program. But we've expanded up to over 100 occupations. 4 years ago we brought in healthcare. We've done a lot of healthcare over the last few years. Rural hospitals that can't seem to find CNAs and a lot of different things. We have those occupations as well. So I work primarily when the students say, this is what I'd like to do, then I go back to the business and see what we can do to help train them.
Do you have you seen any pre-apprenticeship programs that start in high school?
The only one I know of right now is Jackson Contractor Group. They have a fantastic program. I think their kids are starting $15 an hour. Jackson paid for their coursework. 3 weeks, and they got paid for a full day, and I think the classes were 6 hours long. So Jackson is a big believer in it. They're a multi-state company. They've seen what Washington is doing, the state of Washington and Alabama specifically. They're trying to model a company out there as well.
So my understanding is like the first 4 courses are pretty similar no matter what field you go into. Is that
in the construction trade? They're very similar. Yeah. And the first 2 can be waived with an OSHA 10 card. So what we're trying to do is we have to have a full apprenticeship or just use a veterinarian. So Missoula Veterinary Clinic wants a veterinarian assistant. We have to have the full apprenticeship before we can go to pre-apprenticeship. It doesn't mean that when that student finishes their pre-apprenticeship, they have to go work for them, but we just have to have an avenue that they could go work. So otherwise, they're just wasting their time.
And this will be the 6th year that we're working with Jackson Contracting, and that application actually goes out in April to all the juniors, to all Missoula County Public Schools, along with Frenchtown and Hamilton.
So the coursework that they took will help to alleviate anything that they do, whether it goes into HVAC or electrical or plumbing, and those hours we as a state will honor towards whatever degree that they go to or whatever apprenticeship they go towards. So it's a great partnership. We're just trying to get the pre-apprenticeship started. It's not a really common thing right now. But hey, I'm open to trying it.
So I'm convinced that the biggest stumbling block, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the math part for the pre-apprenticeship or any apprenticeship. That from what I've heard from some of the contractors, that a lot of times the kids get stuck on the math.
They can
wash out,
especially younger people that have been out of school for a while and have to come back.
So I'm just curious if that would be an avenue for a pre-apprenticeship, is to get that math portion done before they leave high school.
We absolutely could. And there are courses through Missoula College that we could do as dual enrollment, that we would count towards that. We have an accounting degree or accounting apprenticeship through Missoula College, and they can get 2 of their courses done in high school towards that full apprenticeship.
Math class run geometry algebra 2. What do the kids need?
Well, we would have our own math. So
that's the end of that session.
Electrician.
Trying to move on. 30 minutes of electricity. Still not a math trade.
It's specific to that occupation.
Yep, it's
Smaller group.
Yeah.
good.
I'm Jasmine with the Ridgeway Plastics. I'm the HR coordinator there. We make plastic industrial components. Most of what we do is custom, so we're not making the same thing every day. Or sometimes we are if we have a really large project going on. We have 3 different areas of production. We have an injection molding shop, which doesn't require any training all on the job. There's no school for it. And then we also have a nursing department, all on the job training there too. People who would be interested in that, or people who really like cooking, they're like mixing and pouring stuff into molds and putting it in the oven to cure and folding out the parts. They do a lot of deburring back there too. Then we have CNC machinists where I usually look at the 1 or 2 year programs, but we have taken people who have no training and taught them that way. We offer Master KMU training, which is an online course. We pay for it. We give them $200 as a bonus after they complete each course. Our starting wage for CNC is $22 an hour, and then the rest of the shop is $15.25 with no experience. We offer full benefits, 401k, HSA, paid time off, 7 holidays.
I'm Austin Habza, and I'm the HR manager for Paradise Dental Technologies. We manufacture these guys, dental hand instruments. They're all sourced and made in the United States, which is really cool. They're all actually made out at the Y, that's where our headquarters is. Because we're family owned and it's where we're headquartered, we have a whole bunch of positions that we hire for, but primarily we hire for the production side of things. We don't require any sort of formal training or certification or anything to do our manufacturing because there's nobody walking around knowing how to do that. So all of our training is on the job. And so what we've done is we've tried to get creative with figuring out what people like to do hobby-wise to figure out if they'll succeed with us. People who are artistic really succeed well with us because they're creating something. Even though we have a lot of machines that help us with this process, a lot of it is still done by hand. So people that enjoy creating things and making things and kind of making it their own really do well with us. People who are also mechanically inclined do really well. They don't have to have a certificate or anything like that. Just people that like to tinker on things do really well because most of the machines that we use, we had to make ourselves. So even if they had training on machines specifically, it wouldn't apply to us. But if they've got that skill set already, they do really well. So with that, our production wage right now averages between $14 and $15 an hour. We don't require anything other than high school diploma or GED. So starting wage is $12, but most raises that we give out are $1. We're very pay for performance oriented. So people aren't down at that $12 an hour. We also offer, full health, dental, vision, 401k match, paid holidays, paid time off. Right now we're working 32-hour work weeks, but we're getting paid for 40, so that's keeping turnover really low, which is makes my job really easy. And we're a dog-friendly workplace, so that helps too. You want to bring some dogs in again.
I'm Jason DiCanzo. I represent 2 things today. The first and foremost is my company, Domes Design Build. We are an innovative construction company that employs both traditional and modular and panelized construction techniques. We produce everything from storage sheds to off-grid specialized healthcare facilities in Alaska and everything in between. The idea from this company came from having an architecture practice for 26 years and wondering why didn't we see more tradespeople that were cross-trades? Why didn't we see more young people coming into trades and doing that in a way that it was affordable and challenging? And so we really started the company to think about attainable housing. How do we approach that? And that's what led us to modular techniques. We spent 5 years researching it and developing a plant that we're going to build in Missoula. Right now we're working out of a rented space, but we do have a factory design that in 3 years will employ about 60 people. We have 8 people right now working out of a rented space. We look to have about 60 in 3 years, and then 2 or 3 years after that we'll duplicate that probably in buildings, I think. So that company is working we have people here that are from the traditional trades, but we also have probably more people that aren't actually from traditional trades. We have a professional photographer who happens to do incredible print carpet work. We have a person who is an inventor who builds these incredible machines for the winemaking industry, who is our framer, right? And so somehow we've attracted this like-mindedness, which is really about innovation and being inquisitive, right? We can teach people the processes that they need to go through to build the products that we build. But what's more important is the ability to sort of find and extract the potential from that person. Our company succeeds with a few amount of people when we do that. It allows us to deal with things like honeycomb cell louvers for wall frames, for stress skin panels that are only 2 inches thick for floors that are 3 times the strength of steel, biostructures for dimming windows and creating off-grid products that allow composting to occur more naturally. Those are the types of things that our company is interested in and is being funded for, and quite frankly, is finding a place even with the most attainable in the industry. So that's Domo Design Build. The other industry I'd like to represent here, because it's so underrepresented in the world, is technical theater and technical theater design. My education is actually from the University of Montana with a BFA in technical theater. I put myself through that program working for facility services in the architecture department because my father was an architect and a builder. And interestingly enough, that led to a career in really high-end themed environments, restaurant design, theater design, museums, corporate projects, that kind of thing. There's 100% placement in the technical theater right now, and the majority of people that are in the technical theater don't actually pursue a 4-year or even a 2-year degree. It is an old school apprentice training to deal with cutting-edge technology. By the time you go through a 4-year program, whatever technology you started with is completely outdated and you've moved on. That's why the majority of technical theater people are those that really like to be moving and to learn and to work with their hands and their minds. So my little production company does everything from find movie placement, location placement, to training talent when they have a disability. So I'm involved in many different areas of the production. But I thought I would bring it up because I think it's really important as our funding for arts and applied science or applied industrial arts tends to go down, that doesn't mean that the demand is going down. Right? So there are plenty of ways for people who are interested in these technologies and industries to find ways to get there, either through 4-year, 2-year, or on the job.
One of our teachers came down, he and broadcasting. Okay. So I teach some marketing classes. We'll talk about this coming up a little bit. Excellent. So maybe it'd even be worth it making social media.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like part of our position in working together is that we provide ambassadorships between us as the business community and you as the educational community. There's no way we're going to get past those barriers unless we're willing to do that. I'm always available if you want to talk to a class, just give me a call. I'll be there. I hope this one.
All right, can you write down?
Write it down.
Better write it.
Good job.
Sorry, Jason, it's kind of dumb. Technical theater, so just set design.
Set design, audio design, multimedia design, including video now. So AVI, audio video, has become integral to lighting and sound design. They're inextricable from one another. So, for instance, when we watched the Olympics, that was 2,000 audio video specialists putting up 2,100 projectors, and it took them a week to do it. But it was an incredibly specialized group of people who were working cross fields from audio to video because it all had to be synchronized, right? And so those are theater directors. They're lighting directors and set designers. There are about 60 for USITT, the United States Institute of Theater Technology. There are about 60 designations of professions within the theater community, of the design theater community alone. And there's 100 more outside of that. I've made my living as a lighting designer, both in architecture and in film and live. So, and I still have that practice today, and I just finished doing a lighting design for the chapel in Carroll College, and I designed their new theater. And we employed 18 other people to help with that.
But you're saying a lot of the work is available, entry-level, hands-on.
Almost, I would say an overwhelming majority of it has to be apprenticeship-style hands-on, starting going traveling with a wardrobe.
To quote Andre the Giant, one of my favorite movies, The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Everybody move!
I mean, those positions started by 20 and go up to about $80 an hour.
That's all it is? Yep. So who do we have with us now? My name is Matt Johnson. I'm business at Big Sky.
Rob Watson, I'm the superintendent.
I'm seeing Toronto's mechanical builder.
My name is Bill Fritz. I'm with Jackson Contractor Group. We're a general contractor based out of Missoula. Our offices in Mill City, Bozeman, Walla Walla, and Spokane. That's our headquarters here. But we're a true general contractor, so the trades that we employ are carpenters, welders, finishers, something that we can offer, and one thing we work with school district number 1 in creating is a junior apprenticeship program, bringing in kids between their junior and senior year, get some interview skills, and then also have, if they do win the award, then they get to work for the summer and community $18 an hour. On part of that, we've been able to offer that they go to a boot camp at Missoula College and get college credit for getting some safety training prior to that. And that's actually open. Last year when we did it, it was open to all students and all that. It was kind of scaled on and it was free. I guess the grant might be running out this year, but we're still going to have the class. So we'll at least pick it up for our apprentices. Once they do get out of college, we do have a full apprenticeship program. It's a 4-year program. If they did win the junior apprenticeship program, that hours count for it, then it starts into the book and the hands-on training part of that. So the other things that we can give for you though is coming to classes. All three of us here, we found that we're trying to help change that perception to construction. It's a really good wage and it's a great career. There's always a monument to your efforts being done, and you can move up. The nice thing is you can earn while you learn deal when you go through the apprenticeship, and then even move up. We've had some of our apprentices that have moved up into upper management in the company. We have 2 of them right now. Also, we've offered job shadowing for accounting groups, even, so they can come in and see that side. So there's so many facets to construction than just hammer and nails. It's all the way into the business side and the estimating side. So I've come in and taught over at Big Sky. I've taught some math classes, and also using some of the carpenter skill tests and everything. And just trying to get the word out there that there's another avenue for people to get into, another trade. And now the nice thing is there's so much work. It used to be, when I graduated from high school, you had to leave the state. And more, we have so much work. We need so many people in the state right now that we want to get the word out.
What are the main jobs? What are the main ones kids will fill
coming out of high school? Well, if they're going to the carpenter apprenticeship program right away, so and that's working right with another tradesman, hands-on, but also book learning and classroom. So just learning the trade. Apprenticeship is the oldest teaching. Doctors used to go through an apprenticeship program, so it's just working with another person. And that's how some people learn really well. They just look at a book. So we're trying to find those people with good work ethic, not necessarily looking for that trouble. 2 years ago when we did the apprenticeship program, 4 of the 5 kids were 4.0 students. Thought, hey, maybe the trades were for me instead of going to college. The one thing that we do with that too, as part of it, is they apply, but the second part is we bring the parents in with it to understand that, hey, this is not just this is a career choice and everything that's viable, and you can make a good living with it, and then past that, actually doing interviews. So coming from the business side, one of the things we've seen is that these kids have 0 to no skills on interviews. The simple things is a firm handshake, or look in your eye, or don't come in with your baseball hat on backwards, and stuff like that. But because at that age, that's about all I can pick somebody on, because they have no skill. So what we're doing. But so that's been kind of pretty successful for us and everything. But we're just want to get the word out that there's another avenue for people to do it.
All three projects are within the budget, which we've done a couple of. This might mean that we're looking towards
We're general contractor as well. We have an office here in Missoula, and we're incorporated in Great Falls, and then we've got an office in Billings and an offices in 4 other states. So we have multiple divisions, everything from bridges to schools, airports, industrial. We have an energy division as well. But we offer the job shadowing, we offer internships, apprenticeships. We've gone out to a number of the schools locally and talked to them to share the opportunities in construction, the career path, just getting your foot in the door, whether it's as a laborer or a carpenter, and just the route that can take you. We've gone into the middle schools as well, and so we're happy to come in there and talk to them. Like I said, we're just sharing this industry as a whole, because that's where the lack is at, is just whether it's a plumber or a carpenter or what have you. We're here to support them and to bring people into the trade. Right now, so we're a unique contractor. Eric will share in a minute, but the way to starting out is $19 an hour. They don't have to know anything about that. Is just that hourly wage to start working. And we do the same thing. They're paired up with superintendent, and we have great people that are out there and we want to share the knowledge with them. They kind of want to share that knowledge and keep it going. We have a ton of projects. There's a lot of work out there. There's some people that turn down work because we just don't have the and like I said, for them to understand it's not a simple class job, right? This truly is a career. The price you can have is to give back to your community, incentives, bonuses, like they can make great money. So we have a need there. We're happy to come and talk to students or counselors or what have you. So I just wanted to be a partner.
Cool. My name is Garrett Hitt. I'm the carpenter rep for Missoula. I'm here offering our apprenticeship program, four-year program, kind of similar to what we were already talking about. Our kids are paired up as a journeyman or person and learn the little tricks and trades, but they also go to classes 4 times a year. We have 2 training facilities here in Montana, one in Helena and one in Billings. You put them up there, they go through a little bit of book work and a lot of hands-on training, get a certification in each area. So that's everything from concrete work to finished work. Also, we have millwrights that are under us too, so we learn a lot about the mechanics. So how to deal with turbines and power plants, stuff like that. Bearings, wind turbines. We actually have a couple millwrights that are going to be working on the Gordon Butte project for a huge dam project. The best part about it is earning the decent wage while you're running, so it's not doing the traditional route where go into school, get some debt, and then hope God and find a job and pay it off later. The best part about it is making a wage while you're learning and able to be a productive part of the community, buy a house, and buy cars, and so when I went through it, we were working for $14 an hour for music. I was able to buy a house, buy a decent car, and feel the need to do my job. The best part also is afterwards we have ways for them to keep going for we have a partnership with universities here in Montana where they can go there, get an associate's degree in construction science. Also, we have training in IGC, Las Vegas. They go down there for superintendent training, leadership training, and come out with certifications there too. The best part about our cert is they're good anywhere in the United States of Canada. So our guys can go to the job site, show the superintendent their certification. They know what they're certified in because the training is universal and it's from California, Montana, New York, Canada. They know what these kids are going to have in job. And the best part about it is great hands equal clean money too. So the kids can come out, I know I drive my wife crazy because I've been pulling out a dog and every time I'm doing it. Got at it, but stop with, it drives her crazy. So
All right, we've reached the halfway point. It's all downhill from here. Move on to the next day.
Thank you. So good so far, give them all.
You're always ready.
Get your story straight. We're on the...
All right, okay. I'm Kelly Roseleaf. I'm the Director of Child Care Resources. We're a helping human service organization focused on helping families find child care, helping low-income families pay for it, and training the child care workforce. And I want to start by talking about working in early childhood itself, working with young children. There's hardly anything required to become a child care teacher, which is a problem in itself, but that's the way it is right now. You need a first aid and CPR, and you need to have an FBI background check. We administer those fingerprints at our office, and then you need a child protective service background check to assure that convicted violent offenders and sex offenders do not work in child care. And then you need to have some classes in health and safety. They're offered online at childcaretraining.org. We manage that site for the whole state, and they're free, and they're about keeping kids safe in group settings. And so that's what you need to get in the door. There's a huge turnover in child care and vacancies all the time. There is absolutely no problem getting a job in a child care center. However, it doesn't pay very well, so a lot of people don't want to stay. You can, however, have your own child care business. You can operate a home-based child care. It has a lot of great tax incentives to do it, and you can end up making a decent living taking care of kids in your own home and owning your own business. And LP will talk a little bit more about that, but we're happy to help with that as well.
Do you guys ever hook up with the YMCA?
Yeah.
They have like my daughter did a class there on babysitting.
Yeah.
And they do a whole
Yeah, well, babysitting's a little bit different thing than child care, but
it's like a lead-in to
right. And so some people, one thing about doing babysitting or working in a child care setting in a center is you can find out whether or not you really want to be with 3-year-olds all day long and interact with their parents at the beginning and the end of the day, like you all do at your jobs, interacting with parents. So that's a good way to do it without launching the business for yourself. But you can make more money doing it yourself in a small home-based facility, and there is plenty of market. We only can serve 44% of the kids who need child care in the state of Montana. Missoula County itself, 43%. So there is room in the market for this business. And then in our own place of work, we do have some jobs that require degrees and credentials in early childhood, but we also have jobs in eligibility, figuring out how the family's income and how many people are in the family and whether they meet the eligibility criteria to get help paying for child care. We serve over 500 families a month on that program in Missoula, Mineral Valley County. There's lots of businesses like ours that do eligibility. There is no college credential that teaches people to do that. It's basic math and excellent organizational skills. The kind of people who put every single paper in the folder when they're done with it and put that folder in the cabinet and do not have a messy desk. This is not me. I cannot do it, but I employ half a dozen of them, and there are lots of places around the community and around the state that do this kind of eligibility work, and we have benefits and all of that too. So it's a great way to work with families, and people are grateful for the support.
I'm Elke Jefferson. I'm personally a serial lifelong entrepreneur, but a year ago I actually started working for another company because I was so compelled by the leadership. That company is called My Village. They're a Bozeman-based, venture-backed startup. They closed the largest seed round in the history of Montana to tackle problems in and around early childhood education. It's set up right now as a franchise model, but there is no franchise fee. The structure of the franchise allows for quality control and the mechanics that we wanted to have for people to make it easier to start, run, and grow an in-home child care program. We have 104 programs right now in Montana and Colorado. 82% of those programs are brand new educators, so people who this was not their background and not the space that they were in originally. whether that's a career changer, someone that's young, starting out, someone that's starting a family and wants to stay home but still continue to have an income. So we've really leaned into that getting started. That said, we've also been able to really help offer external support to maximize enrollment so that instead of being partially full, people can be fully full. And so we have marketing, we have tech tools, we have tax tools, and we have a lot of support services around community building as well, because it's a very isolating company. We got you short last time, so we let you go.
Okay, my name is Austin Richardson. I'm the odd one here. I own a construction company. It's called American Construction here in Montana and in Arizona. And what I want to help tell you guys is kind of a short story of how I got there. When I went to middle school and high school, I wanted to be successful and I wanted to make money, like any child does when they're young. Well, in order to do that, I was told me I'd be a lawyer or a doctor, so I wanted to be a doctor. But during high school, I had to get a job at an early age, and the only job I could get was in construction, digging trenches for a company, and stayed with them throughout high school. And by the time I got to college, I went for one semester. I couldn't do both, so I chose to stick with construction. Now, if you would have asked me in my earlier years if I would ever see myself in construction, I'd tell you absolutely not. They don't make any money, and it seems like a lot of labor. But that changed. And what I want to get people to realize is keep an open mind for what you want to do and what you could like to do. You know, I didn't think I was going to like construction. I liked it. I stayed in, I moved up, became a superintendent, project manager, started a company and sold it, started another company and sold it, and became more of an entrepreneur. So the construction led me to become a businessman. But I think what children need to realize is that there's a lot of opportunities, even if you wanted to go into early child care, that you could start a business, that it doesn't cost money, and you don't really even need to have experience. If you have people like that that's going to help you learn the industry and get funded, whether through a franchise. And in the state of Montana, there's a lot of grants, there's a lot of federal grants to get money to start a business. I don't think people realize all you have to do is ask, whether you go to the chamber to ask them or call and ask any business owner, because I myself, if you call me, you could shadow me, you could ask me any question, I'm going to tell you. I don't need to benefit from that because I want to see other people succeed, and that's how the majority of business owners are. And so kids just need to not be afraid to ask questions and keep an open mind about what they can do, because you can make a lot of money even in child care as a business owner or in construction. Just as an estimator or a carpenter, you're making more than most people do in an office.
Do you ever go speak to school? Have you ever come in?
I have, yeah.
With business cards?
Absolutely.
Does kind of speak to the value of business courses that y'all have, because when I was a kid, people didn't really think about having their own business, but I think young people do think about having their own business and making their own way and being their own boss. And they think about working from home and all those kinds of things, but you need some business skills, you know, financial management skills and marketing skills to really succeed at some of those things. So that'd be good.
Well, that's the nice thing about a company like yours. You know, you might be scared of the whole accounting and all of those number things, but you come in, you help them out. And I'm sure you guys help as well. So there's that support. And, you know, there's a support chain for everything.
There's ways to solve for anything. You just have to be taught to be questioning and figure out what your questions are and what you need to ask for.
I think that's a huge thing. Tell them to keep an open mind, never know what can happen or what you like, and always ask questions, because no question is stupid. Because you might not know. The only way you're going to know is if you ask. I think a lot of people are afraid of that.
We were just talking with another group about how it'd be really fun to do an event around the indirect path that people have taken to get where they are, and that, you know, you wanted to be a doctor, I wanted to be a welder. Like, I mean, it's like all these things that when you start out, you're doing these things, and it's, I think, really great for kids to hear that what they're doing right now will inform what they're going to do later.
Don't you think all those experiences, even if they're not directly on the course, lead to the path?
100%. I do. 100%. It's a cumulative thing, and it's hard to do that when you're at the beginning of your career.
there's so much transferable skills. Anyway.
And that's why it's huge to try something. You know, even if they think they don't like it, just try it. Because you might try construction, but maybe you end up shadowing an estimator, and all he does is sit in the truck, go talk to the customer, and write numbers down. Maybe he's like, oh, I like that. Well, you wouldn't know unless you tried in a business.
That would be a great job.
All right, time to move again.
Thank you, guys.
My next year, estimator.
Awesome job. Okay, so I'll get started. I is I recruit for our CNA company. So our in-person one was 2 weeks and it is fully sponsored. They do have our they pay for the CNA. With high schoolers that doesn't work quite as long as during the summer that they take it. So we are offering online programs for high school. With Big Sky in particular, we just initiated an online program that goes from the beginning of the semester to the end of the semester. And it is a $700 fee for the semester, but if they take a position with us, we will pay them that money back. That is over a period of time, so if they work with us for, I think it's 6 months, they'll get that $700 back. CNA is a really good opportunity for them to learn if they actually want to go into nursing. You know, maybe they'll work as a CNA for their time in high school, and then we do help with tuition, so LPN tuition, that sort of thing. We do hire 60 and up, so they can be although they do have to go through the interview process just like anyone else. They have to make sure that they have the maturity to work with seniors.
Can they get a CNA at 16?
Yes. They just can't operate lift. So we have what's called a Hoyer lift. So we have to have someone else do that, but we're okay.
Is the 2-week program full-time?
For the program?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., which is why it's really hard for high school, so that's why we started the online program. During the summer, I think that's a great option for them to do, though, is the 2-week program, because they don't have to have that $700 up front, they pay for that. We do promise them a position, too.
Is there an assessment at the end in order to get your CNA?
Yes. So there's a skills portion and a written portion, and it is state proctored. So there's a state proctor who comes and gives them a scenario and for a non-clinical side of things, if you have students who are interested in part-time work, even if it's 30 hours a week, if it's less than 30 hours a week, we do have serving positions, dining positions, dishwasher, cook, we have maintenance, housekeeping, laundry, that sort of thing. So I always tell people about that too, because it's a nice way to earn a little bit of extra money and get their foot in the door too.
So if you do the online one, you pay $700 up front, go through the course.
Yes. Yep.
And then is that self-paced as well?
It can be. Yep, so with Big Sky in particular, so they could do, it ranges from 2 weeks to as long as you need. So with Big Sky in particular, we have it going from, it was the beginning, January 27th until I think it's like May 10th or something like that, and they work on it during a study hall. We do have a teacher who preceptors it, so they have access to make sure that the students are turning in their work. And then they do clinicals with them, so in-house clinicals. And I would offer anyone a job too. I would be willing to interview anyone and place them somewhere so that they can have a job too. Yes, yes. Like right now, I don't want to tell you this, but just one of our buildings is like 10 students. That's just one.
And that is an industry-wide concern and issue. We call it the silver tsunami, those of us within the industry. We've been understaffed across the board, the hospitals, everybody, for about 3 years. And it's going to get worse. So people need to want to work in the industry. Our aging population is growing, and yet we can't staff it already. I'm Denise Sherman with Case Management Care, so we're the home health piece, the one-on-one in the home. We'll go into clinical environments as well, but we're still only providing one-on-one care. So what's nice for us is when people really don't know and the more clinical environment seems overwhelming. We do training within our office itself, and then on-the-job shadowing and training in the homes themselves, and just one-on-one care. So you can start out taking someone to the movies, grocery shopping, helping around the home, on up to we do everything, all the activities of daily living, as the bed that has the proper transfers, and we work closely with hospices so people can get the chance to right up through the last moments and see if that's industry, and if they're heart fitted, they can handle that sort of situation. It's a great chance to see if the industry is even the right fit for them. And then if it is and they want to pursue it, one thing that's nice about both our programs is if you want to pursue nursing, working within the industry does give you a better chance at getting into the nursing program. It's very competitive, especially Montana. In the openings, especially locally, having a letter from somebody like us does make a difference. And gives people a real chance to see if they like this and if they can handle it.
What's the starting salary for a CNA?
For us, it's $12 an hour. They can make shift differentials that can come up to 50.
Are you guys running the Lifelong Learning Center version of that?
I guess it's similar, but it's not through them. So it is through the Goodman Group. So the online class is actually based out of so there is a teacher, an online teacher who teaches as well, but then we have the clinical instructor who's in so it is kind of a different program, I guess, but it's all Montana laws based off of all the certifications. Yeah. But it is really nice because they can do it like on their phone, on a tablet, on a laptop, from anywhere, and kind of at their own pace as long as they get it done within that week. So usually it's like a set amount, and then it's due by the next Monday. So as long as they get it all done by then they move on to the next portion. But they can work ahead too. So if they want to get it done faster.
And it's a nice, it's a state certificate, so it's good throughout the state. You're going to move around. You have to get recertified if you change state, but it's much easier to challenge the test.
What's the biggest stumbling block for kids not being able to finish that? Have you seen?
For us, within the industry, what we run into is people understanding what professional boundaries are and understanding how to be a professional. When you're working one-on-one and helping someone with personal care, it's really easy to forget you're being paid to be there. You're not their friend. So how do you be friendly and be a friend while still making sure that you're being a professional? And I think that's what we struggle with the most. If there's anything we could figure out how to teach, because when they hear it from us, by the time they're hearing it from us, we're just the boss. What do we know? And so if people could learn that, if you want to be treated like a professional, you wear your scrubs, you dress like a professional, you arrive on time, you speak appropriately, but it's just interesting to me how people understand that.
I would say for us, people who aren't really committed to it. Like we have people from the street, we hire a lot of people from the street for our GPA class. We do usually see about a third, or if we have 15 people, we usually see 3 people drop out before class even starts. So they're just not committed, not interested, or they don't think the wages is what they're doing, which I kind of agree with.
I would agree with that.
Their job's hard.
Better than the average, lack of skills job, but
for what they do.
And then once they become a CNA, do you lose them to other places that pay more?
Yep, we lose them and then they try to come back too. So I always tell people, try me every 2 weeks. They don't leave on a good note, we're not going to hire them back. A lot of them do leave for traveling CNA, that sort of thing, where they pay a lot more, but they don't get enough hours. So they're getting, $15 an hour, but they're only getting 20 hours a week.
Yeah, they get lured away for that.
So then they come back and they're like, I need more hours.
And steadier. I think where we put people is we'll work with all kinds of schedules, but they can be inconsistent. if the client passes or doesn't need you anymore, your schedule's going to change.
Yeah, but how I view it, instead of being upset when they leave, like say past or being a medical center, like okay, we're still putting people out there. So you might only have them for 2 months, but at least they're still being out there. Because even if it is that St. Pat needs people. There's people there that need care. So I don't really get that frustrated about it. It's like they're still helping somewhere. And they keep going to I mean, have a million reasons you can't worry about it. So exactly. They're not all negative or bad.
What's the likelihood of people, moving and climbing, right? Because there's like respiratory therapists, and I mean, there's all RN and LPN. Like, how realistic is that for someone to start?
All right, time to move again.
To keep moving.
I would say it's really realistic depending on each person. If they have that motivation, they can get there. We have most of our DONs directly started at PN, so they work there. So I see it as it's definitely an opportunity, and it's definitely there if they have the drive.
It's down there, yeah. She's great. Yeah, she's having such a good time.
Good.
Yeah. The one for high school and the college class right now. Yeah. I won't. I'm planning on it. Yeah.
You guys are running this too long. And the camera. I want to go quick on this one. Auxiliary No, I've been fine from the hips since the start. No, it's okay. It's okay. It gives us a break for a second.
You guys are the ones running the show, so we're running late. Okay, it's not on us.
Are we waiting for anyone else here? All right, I'll go ahead and get started then, so we don't run too far behind. My name is Quincy Walker. I'm the director of sales at the Hilton Garden Inn down over on the north side. I'm not really speaking about my hotel specifically, but about the hospitality industry as a whole. Within hotels, much like the Hilton Garden Inn, that are the size of the Hilton Garden Inn, there are about 7 different departments. Front desk, housekeeping, operations, administration, the kitchen and cooking staff, maintenance, and I probably forgot one in there because I'm not in my normal order, but all of those different departments all have entry-level positions, and all of those entry-level positions do not require, most of those entry-level positions do not require any additional schooling or even experience outside of high school to get into. And the exciting part about hospitality is once you get into, get your foot in the door there, once you get that job, the possibilities are almost endless from that point forward. You can spider web between different departments as you move up, and you also have an excellent opportunity to move out. A great example I've been using as a personal one for me, I started at the Hilton Garden Inn as an administrative assistant, which is a fancy way of saying secretary, and I went from there to director of sales in about 4 years. We have most of our management had tracks similar to that, and it doesn't stop there. Of the 10 or so managers at the hotel, only 2 or 3 of us have college degrees or any education beyond that, and those degrees aren't what got us those jobs. That's just kind of the path they took in life. And again, it's not the ceiling for us. And on top of that moving within and moving up, the other exciting part is moving beyond. A good friend of mine was in the sales department with me. He took a job up in Alaska because he wanted to try something different and had never considered Alaska. There's the networks with Hilton and Marriott and everything in between. You can go almost anywhere. I recently just saw a posting for the job I've got. over in Edinburgh, and if I didn't have dogs, I'd be trying to get over there myself. That's the big pitch for hospitality, and I know a lot of people don't consider it. You know, what do you want to do when you grow up? Work in a hotel. It's just not something that shows up in their minds, but it can take kids just about anywhere, and adults just about anywhere they want to go.
I'm Missoula. I work at Blackfoot. I oversee all our recruitment. And we have our general, what you think of standard business departments. We have our HR, marketing, our accounting, finance. And then because we're telecom infrastructure company, we have our network engineering, our central office, which houses the Netflix server, by the way. I keep forgetting to tell people that because it's kind of neat. But then our IS and IT. In addition, we do have a pretty large outside plant facility team that does construction. From our general labor construction, we help you get your CDL. That's not a requirement, so really that isn't even a barrier. We'll help you during your probation period attain that. Once you've kind of become proficient in that and you have interest, you can become a cable tech or a service tech. Those are the ones doing more fiber splicing, bringing it up and into the building. Who you think of when you call whoever your internet provider is to bring you service in your house. That person is coming in. We also have a warehouse team that's coming and going from our vendors and our building materials. We have a customer service team that starts right at our front desk. Up to when you're calling to tell us how great your internet service is, right? Because that's the only time you would call it. But it's a person here in Missoula that's directing that phone call, telling you about your account, what those questions are. And a lot of those we do just train and hire without prior experience. We interview for those customer service skills and then train from there on our own system. We do have some of our entry-level IT or technical, like drafters or we have hired without a certification or degree. Those students tend to be, or those people tend to be, like they were really, really into gaming, and that supervisor during the interview was asking questions. I'll be really fast. That alluded to that. They knew how to port because they've got to get to their friend's computer that's 3 blocks down or whatever it is. So there's a lot of different ways to get an entry-level license, and there we do tuition reimbursement if you did want to pursue a degree.
Hi, my name is Gillian. I'm with the YWCA in the GRIT program. GRIT stands for Girls and Gender Diverse Youth Representing in Trades. It used to be that it was just girls representing in trades, but we have seen amongst our students that there is a greater diversity of how kids are identifying and how they want to be in the world. And so we're trying to create an environment for them to access our services in whatever way they feel most comfortable with. So GRIT puts on 3 workshops in the skilled trades for teens ages 11 to 19. Some of the workshops we've done in the past include blacksmithing, bike mechanics, auto mechanics, carpentry. We are in the middle of our welding workshop right now at Missoula College on the West Campus. And that has been a really exciting experience for me. I'm pretty new to this role, and so this is the welding program in 20 hours was my first larger workshop that I've organized with GRIT. And so just to see the kids as they come in on the first day sort of unsure and kind of like wondering if they've made the right choice, to actually getting like a welding and like an electrode in their hands and like starting to actually weld. It's pretty exciting, that transformation, and it happens like pretty quickly. So GRIT is not necessarily a program that's funneling kids into the trades. If that's what they end up deciding that they want to do, that's great, but mostly what GRIT is for is to basically provide a way for these students to have access to skills that traditionally maybe society has told them are not for them. And we know that there's a pretty big gap in the labor market that's already upon us and is going to grow over the next few years. And so we just want kids to be able to see, like, maybe I haven't ever like thought of this skill as being something that's for me, but now I've tried it and I can do it. And so now what else could I try and do? And just to take those skills that they learn in GRIT, whether they're hard skills, soft skills, and take them into the rest of their life. I've got a lot more information over here, so if you have high school say that they're a middle school daughter that you think might be interested. Yeah, I'm happy to talk about it. Thank you.
What sorts of coursework should we be offering in high school for kids that might be interested in hospitality?
Math. Really, as far as coursework, math is going to be the biggest one in any direction you go, because so much of it is oriented and really that's about it as far as like a specific one, and it's not even anything too terribly complicated because the computers do most of the work for you at this point. Computer skills too, that's a real big one, and on the more administrative sales sort of end outside of the operations end, because within hospitality there's really two different directions. There's the administrative sales and management end, and then there's the operations side of things as well, which also leads to management. It's just a different, it's two branches within the same building doing completely different things, but working together. So math, computer skills.
All right, time to move. We've got 2 sessions left, so we're nearing the end.
All right, I'm Gordon Hughes with the Missoula Fire Department, and career path to becoming a firefighter in the municipal setting would be to participate in the Montana Firefighters Consortium. It's held annually in the city of Great Falls. Every summer we hold this event, and it's based on all the Class 1 cities for employment. So that'd be Billings, Butte, Helena, Missoula, Great Falls, Bozeman, Missoula Rural Fire Department, and a couple other smaller, not quite so big cities. Kalispell has their own testing that they do up there, but within the consortium, you have a written test that is a basic civil servants exam. If you pass that, you go on to a physical agility test, which is a time-based skills, basic stations, and it emulates or mimics what we do or can be doing on a fire scene. A lot of heavyweight lifting and moving. So you got to be in decent shape to pass that. If you pass both those, then you can put your name in a hat to determine whether you want to participate specifically for one city's hiring or an all available city. So those that participate within the consortium, if they have an opening, your name may be drawn for that city. Once you pass those and you get asked for an interview based on a scoring criteria, you can get points for experience if you're a volunteer firefighter or you hold a paramedicine endorsement. You do require a basic EMT endorsement on hire. You have to either have that coming in or upon hire have that endorsement in your hands. You require that you be 18 years of age, hold a GED or a high school diploma. So back to the interviews. So if you're lucky enough to make the interviews, then you're ranked based on how you score in the interview process. Get that covered.
So, just curious about this. I teach weight training classes too. And so sometimes we've had like in the military or different groups come in and do like a little workout, like one of their fit program or something. Would that ever be anything you guys would consider? I mean, assuming you're not short-handed, it's pretty competitive. Like
So
we give kids an idea, like a mini workout thing from it.
Right. So they offer a practice test every summer, a month before the actual consortium test, and it's the same obstacle course. 3 minutes on a stair stepper wearing a 45-pound weight vest, and then you drag a fire hose 150 feet, and then pull it the rest of the way, picking up chainsaws and circular saws and tools while lifting. Ladder raise,
in order to test for claustrophobia, we put people in a blacked out maze and they have to squirrel their way around through this obstacle course. And then, of course, sounds like fun. I'm just it is fun.
And then you could bring in some elements into your classroom.
I went over.
Yeah, good.
And it's really competitive, right?
Very competitive, yes. We hire 3 to 4 people a year just based on attrition.
Right, and there's not much turnover.
Not much turnover.
I'm Kathy Anderson with the local ambulance company here in Missoula, so Missoula Emergency Services. I work on both sides, but most of my job now is education, and we do offer the EMT training to the students. We work a lot with health sciences and post-op to get that accomplished. The complication comes for us is our insurance will not allow us to hire under the age of 21 for driving reasons. But we do introduce the kids to different services such as the fire department, DNRC, the city, those types of areas where they could potentially use their EMT training with that. There are a few people here in Missoula that offer it. I'm biased because I prefer 2 out of them. But beyond that, I'm going with that. We offer the class 3 times a year. The cost of the course is $1,200. That includes their books, everything they're going to need for that. And we do offer them their practical exam for National Registry or the state of Montana as well. In order to take those exams, they do need to be 18 years or older and have their high school diploma or equivalent to it.
I'm Garrett Wade with the police department. So of course we hire sworn police officer positions. That testing takes place twice a year. It's a written test with questions that are fairly common sense type questions. You have a stack of 500s, 450s, 320s, and 25s. How much money do you have? That's a math type. If they're not algebraic type equations. And simple sentence structure, what was stolen in this arrest report? A pack of gum was stolen. That's all you have to write. But if you put pack of gum, you're not going to get the points. And so it's not hard. But then we also have a lot of civilian positions. So we hire administrative staff at the department that work both public-facing, working with the public regularly, and some that work inside and don't see the public a lot. They work more internally. We also have operational civilian positions that work out in the field, crash investigators, CSS positions that work both. They go out and they work in the parks and they work gathering evidence, like a video at Walmart needs to be picked up. They save officers having to go do routine type things that don't require a sworn officer to do. We have evidence technician, an electronic evidence technician, property clerk. So we have quite a few operational that are out working in the field. And then we also have a volunteer program that someone who's 18 can come in and volunteer a couple hours a week and work on a project or work with found property or found bikes and assist with getting those back to the owners and doing research, learning how to use our systems to do that research. Working on a project to data mine information from police reports or geographical information to help somebody find stolen property. They've taken sheets of information from other agencies and compared those to items that we have to see if any of those are stolen. So it's a lot of work that gets done by the volunteers. In each one of those positions, we've hired sworn officers out of those positions. Because if you see how someone works when they're here, it's much easier to say, well, I don't care that you maybe don't have a college degree or all these points. I know what you do and how you work. I want you to at least get an interview and get that shot of scoring well on the interview. Another important thing is teaching people how to interview. We have so many people that get an interview and they come in and the question is, why do you want to work in Missoula? And they say, I grew up here. That's it. You need more. You got 30 minutes for the whole interview. If you don't use at least 20 to 25 to 30 minutes, you've given up points. You've given up that opportunity to get that next step, which would be an offer of hire. And that's really key. And people that have gone out and worked careers, we had somebody come in that worked a career in the military. He's never done a job interview in his life. He's got skills that you can't imagine, but he answered the questions, yes, no, and gave an
correct answer, but no depth on the answer, so it's hard to get that person to the next step of getting hired. So that's critical. When they come in advance and talk to somebody before an interview, that helps a lot, because I'm going to tell that person, if I ask you this question about ethics, go in deeper, talk more about it, talk why that's important, talk about Missoula's environment and why that's
important. Time to move for the last time. Move on to the next table, and that should complete the circuit.
We've hired probably 10 or more people in the last 12 months, and we currently have 4 openings right now. And we have always people retiring. I mean, we've got 114 positions, and we're always have vacancies. It's just we test twice a year, and it takes a long time because they have to go to the academy for 12 weeks and then go through field training. So you hire somebody, and they're not on the street handling calls alone for 9 months. So.
Some that are more technical or more advanced, but most of them are entry level. You have to be 18 to work for us. Customer service representative is probably one of the ones I feel like we almost always have one of those positions available. And we also do claims examiner, which is more, put your headphones on and do some detail work. You don't have to talk to people on the phone. So there's definitely some variety. We're always looking for computer skills. They don't have to be, you don't have to be expert or anything like that, but you definitely have to know your way around the computer, be able to type, do a professional email, have those communication skills. We really like people that can listen, because when you're taking those phone calls, you really want to be able to not interrupt. Just let them say what they have to say, and then be able to help them. Our customer service representatives are that front line. People that are really helping them through their situation and hopefully help them through that. We do a couple of apprenticeships here with Missoula College. We have one for our claims examiner position, for IT tech, and then also for accounting. They do have different criteria. It just depends on the position. Like the IT tech, we want you to go to school for a semester or get some of those basics under your belt. For the claims examiner, it is more of you're going to start at the same time. You're going to go to school and you're going to start your training and to kind of do them together. Our training is about 4 to 6 months. So very in-depth. Sorry if I already said that. And then when you're going to school, we do pay you to go to school for 2 hours. So you work 8 hours, and you work 6 hours, and then go to school for 2. So if you're having online class or something like that, then you can only go to school just when you're getting paid, which is kind of nice.
My name is Linda Abreu, and I'm the branch manager here at LC Staffing. And for those of you that don't know what we do, we're a staffing agency. So we work with many of the employers here in Missoula, along with people that are looking for work. So they come to us with an idea of what kind of work they want to do, or a skill set that they have, and they're not sure what they want to do. And then we have companies that call us because they have a need for a specific type of employee. So I tell people all the time, we're like glorified matchmakers. So we work all day long trying to take your skill set to match it with the needs of the employer. So we work with many clients. We do everything from labor to clerical to medical, professional. We do construction, manufacturing, assembly. The only thing we really don't do is roofing and anything with a chainsaw. So we're cautious when it comes to that. But so a lot of times people come to us and they think that they wanted to do assembly work, and then they find out it's really difficult for them, or they come to us and they want to do clerical, and then they find out they don't want to be sitting at a desk all the time. So we just help them try to move that career forward and find out what they really want to do. There's never a fee to them. The fee always goes to the employer that's looking for that employee. We do mostly full-time, long-term, but we do have some clients that are looking for short-term jobs or temporary jobs. But for most of the part, it's full-time, long-term. So we do all day long. So I have some cards here, and also I have some stuff in the back table if you guys want to take any of it.
Thank you.
How are you?
The same or different from job service?
So with job service, companies just post their jobs there. With us, the clients come to us and they pay us to find them the most qualified candidates. So we don't ever guarantee anybody that we're going to find them a job, but we do our best to put everybody to work. So what we'll do is we'll reference check, we interview you, we text you, and then we'll submit you to a client, and the client may choose the top 2 or the top 3, but we're not going to submit everybody that's interested in that position, because we can post a position and 50 people will apply, but only 10 may be qualified. So we're only going to send, we're that buffer for the client, that they're not going through every single references and all of that. We give them those top ones to take a look at.
A lot of this is my husband uses LCC, and a lot of businesses don't have time to do it.
Yeah. They don't. It's a lot of work. Yeah. You guys know. Yeah. All day long. All day long. Yeah. I can type 15 words a minute. No.
So I'm Robin, and I work at Costco. I've been there for 28 years. That's my career. It is a wonderful job. I've done cleanup. I've been a manager, and you can go as far as you choose to go. As far as your drive is, I mean, you can go up to corporate. Costco's a lifestyle. I think you bring that up. So any place that's lifestyle, from travel to whatever, I mean, they need people to work those positions. You can transfer around the world if you wanted to with Costco. That you have to. Somebody does it wrong. You have to apply, not that, but you have to apply online. And every 6 weeks you got to reapply, to keep it current. But I suggest that you go, after you apply, you go in and you show them your face, so that they have a face for who's applying. But they also work well with students that are attending college. They'll work around their schedule. But it pays well. It starts at $15 an hour, and you get bonuses and 401. And I suggest that, if I would like the students to know how valuable those things are, because I didn't know. I just left out. But, that's just telling the story about, you might get 15 cents more an hour, but we're paying your benefits. And that's huge. So, that's about all I got. How old do you have to be to work at 18? There's no, apprenticeship or anything? There's not. The only thing that they have is, you can intern occasionally with pharmaceuticals. If you're a pharmacist.
Do you guys have any questions for us?
What's your guys' do you hire a lot of people pretty frequently? Do you have a lot of opportunity?
We are 2 full-time recruiters. Yes. We're constantly, there's never a time that there's nothing for us to do. Yes, it's constant because we're growing in general. It's not because of turnover, it's more because we have to build another team. We have this business team, we're bringing on more clients, so we need to have those customer service representatives and claims examiners to help answer those calls. Definitely team oriented is how we are. We don't have enough, you're taking 50 more calls, because we didn't plan it out enough with how we staff. So, we have all together, because we have all of our different locations, we're about at 550 employees all together in Texas, Vegas, and all those different places. But we're growing substantially, and it's going to continue because we have about 80 positions in Plano, Texas, that we're looking to fill as well. And here we're at about 98% capacity, so we're sending a lot of people to work at home. It's another benefit to work at home, so we can then bring new talent or new skills in.
It's new ones to go to Texas.
They sent me down there. They sent me down there in August a couple years ago. I'm like, why am I being punished? Why are you sending me? The heat of it. Yeah, you can work from home. Yeah, after you get through your training and it's that business need, so it's not everyone for sure everyone, but once you get through training for sure, and then if they have that, yes, we need you. You're a good worker. You have everything that you need.
All right, that concludes the dating session. Speed dating, whatever you want to call it.
know lots of numbers, man.
All right, if you'll all remain in your seats, we're going to hand out tests so that we can judge how much you retain. Okay. The rest of our time here today, we've got the room until 3:30. If you had a chance to talk to someone, you want to learn a bit more from them, please seek them out, have a chat with them. Let's get to know each other and create those relationships that'll improve both our education community and the business community. Thanks, folks.
Who's your husband, Casey?
Nice job. Brian Sternberger, who owns Montana Glass and Garden City.
Oh, yeah.